The forest was alive with strange sounds. Tall alien trees reached high into the sky, their roots twisting like giant snakes across the ground. The air was thick, heavy with mist. Glowing plants lit the path with soft blue and green light. Every step the human took echoed through the silence, and yet, he was not alone. His name was Daniel, an explorer from Earth. He had traveled across the galaxy, searching for knowledge, searching for adventure. But here, on this strange world, something felt different, something felt dangerous. The forest seemed to watch him, as if the trees themselves carried secrets. Daniel held his spear tight. He was not afraid of wild animals, not afraid of storms, but he feared the unknown, and this world was full of unknown things. Every sound in the distance felt like a warning, every shadow looked like a threat, and then, he heard it, a voice, soft but desperate, carried through the mist. Help. Please help. Daniel froze, his heart pounding. Was it real, or just a trick of his mind? No. It came again, louder this time, trembling with fear. Please, human, help. My mom is trapped in the sky hunter's nest. Daniel turned quickly, from the shadows. A figure appeared, small and trembling. It was a young alien girl, her skin glowing faint blue, her large eyes shining with tears. She looked fragile, almost delicate, but her voice carried a weight of pure terror. For a moment, Daniel could not believe it. He had seen many alien species, but never one like her. Her hair was long, braided with tiny crystals that glowed softly. Her clothes were made of woven vines, simple but elegant. She looked like a child of the forest itself. Daniel raised his spear, unsure, was she real, or some kind of trap? But then he saw her face. Her fear was not fake. Her voice broke again, filled with pain. Please, human, I beg you. My mom is taken. The sky hunter has her. She will die if you don't help. The human's breath grew heavy. He had no reason to help a stranger, no reason to fight a beast he did not know, but something in her voice reached deep inside him. Something told him this was not only her fight, but now his. Who are you? Daniel asked firmly. The girl stepped closer, still trembling. My name is Lyra, she whispered. My people live hidden in this forest. We fear the sky hunter. It takes who it wants. It took my mother. Her voice cracked as she pointed to the sky. She is in its nest, high above the cliffs. No one dares to go there. No one but you. Daniel's mind raced. He had heard legends of hunters, creatures that ruled the skies of alien worlds. But this girl's fear made the legend sound real. Still, he wondered why him? Why call for a human's help? Why me? Daniel asked slowly. Lyra's glowing eyes locked on his. Because humans are strong. Humans fight. I saw it. I know it. Please, if you do nothing, she will die. The forest grew quiet, as if it too was waiting for his answer. Daniel looked around, the mist curling like smoke through the trees. Something moved in the shadows, a warning, a reminder that time was short. He gripped his spear tighter, feeling the weight of the choice before him. He could walk away, leave this child to her fate. But could he live with that? Could he let a child watch her mother die? The thought twisted inside him like a blade. Finally, he nodded. All right, Lyra, I'll help you, he said. Her face lit up with hope, her glowing eyes wide with relief. She grabbed his hand with her small fingers, pulling him forward. Come, we must hurry. The sky hunter feeds at night, and the nest is high above the cliffs. As they moved deeper into the forest, the air grew colder. Strange whispers echoed between the trees. Lyra looked back at him, her voice soft but urgent. You must be careful. The sky hunter is not only strong, it is clever. It knows when prey comes close. Daniel's heart pounded in his chest. He had fought many battles, faced many dangers. But this was different. This was not just survival. This was a promise. A promise to a child who believed in him. The forest grew darker, the mist thicker. Daniel kept his spear ready, every step bringing him closer to a danger he could not see. Lyra walked ahead, her glow guiding the way, her small voice whispering prayers to the forest. The path twisted, the shadows deepened, and the sense of being watched grew stronger. Then, in the distance, Daniel saw it, a claw mark, carved deep into a massive tree, wider than his hand. The bark was torn, the wood splintered, his stomach tightened. This was no child's story, no trick. The sky hunter was real, and it was close. He looked at Lyra. She stopped, her glowing eyes filled with fear. "Do you see now?" she whispered. "This is what waits for us." Daniel lifted his spear, his face set with determination. "Yes," he said quietly, "and we are going to face it." And so, the human and the alien girl stepped deeper into the forest. The hunt had already begun. The forest seemed endless. Strange glowing flowers opened as they passed, releasing faint sparks of light. The mist swirled between the giant roots, making every step feel like entering another world. Daniel kept his spear ready, his eyes scanning the shadows. But his thoughts were on the girl walking ahead. Her name was Lyra. She moved quickly, almost gliding across the uneven ground, her glowing skin casting a faint blue trail behind her. For someone so young, she carried a heavy weight. Her voice was soft, but when she spoke, there was sorrow deeper than the forest itself. Daniel broke the silence first. "Tell me about this sky hunter," he asked, his voice steady but low. Lyra paused, her shoulders trembling, as if the question itself carried pain. Then she whispered, "It is not just an animal. It is more. It is a shadow of death." Her words hung in the mist. She looked at Daniel, her glowing eyes filled with both fear and anger. "For generations, my people have lived here. Hidden, small, peaceful. We never fight. We never harm. We live with the forest. But the sky hunter does not care. It hunts what it wants, when it wants." Daniel frowned. "Why does it take your people?" he asked. Lyra lowered her head. "Because we glow. Because we are easy to see in the night sky. The sky hunter takes us to its nest, sometimes to feed, sometimes to keep alive for days. We never know why." Her hands shook as she spoke. "My mother fought it. She tried to protect me. She told me to run. I heard her scream. I saw the wings. I saw her carried away into the clouds." Lyra's voice broke, and for a moment she could not continue. Daniel felt a heaviness in his chest. He had faced monsters, soldiers, even machines. But this was different. This was not war, not conquest. It was survival against a predator that ruled the skies. And in this child's eyes, he saw more than fear. He saw desperation. "Why did you come to me?" Daniel asked quietly. "There are others, your people. Why not ask them?" Lyra shook her head. "My people hide. They are afraid. They would never fight the sky hunter. But I saw you. I saw you walking alone in the forest. Not afraid. Humans are strong. Humans fight back. And I believed in you." Her words struck him harder than any blade. This girl, a stranger, believed more in him than he sometimes believed in himself. He wanted to tell her she was wrong, that he was just a man with a spear, nothing more, but he could not when she looked at him with those eyes filled with fragile hope. The forest suddenly shuddered. A loud screech echoed through the trees, deep and powerful. Lyra froze, her small hands clutching Daniel's arm. Her voice dropped to a whisper. "It knows. The sky hunter knows we are coming." Daniel raised his spear, his heart pounding. "Stay behind me," he said firmly. But nothing attacked. The sound faded into the distance, like a warning, like a promise of what was waiting above. They moved again, slower now. Daniel asked more, wanting to understand. "Your mother, what is she like?" Lyra's face softened for a moment, her voice quiet but warm. "She is strong, braver than anyone. She always told me the forest gives us strength. She sings to the trees. She knows their secrets. She is not just my mother. She is the heart of my people." Tears filled her glowing eyes, but she wiped them quickly. "She cannot die there. In that nest, she must live. Without her, my people will lose hope. They will hide forever. Daniel listened. And for the first time, he felt something more than duty. This was not just about saving one life. This was about saving an entire people's spirit. If her mother died, her people's courage would die with her, and Lyra. She would carry pain that no child should carry. He looked at her and nodded. Then we will bring her back, he said. The girl smiled faintly, a fragile smile, but real. Thank you, human, she whispered. Thank you. As they walked further, Daniel noticed signs, feathers larger than his arm, scattered on the ground, black and sharp. Trees broken, as if something massive had flown through them. Every sign told the same story. The sky hunter was no myth. It was real, and it was close. Lyra touched one of the feathers, her hand trembling. This is from its wing, she whispered. It is watching us now. Daniel tightened his grip on the spear. He could feel the forest itself holding its breath. The mist swirled, shadows shifted, and above them, something moved between the clouds. The girl's voice broke the silence once more. My mother is strong, but even she cannot last long. The sky hunter keeps its prey alive, but not forever. If we wait too long, it will be too late. Daniel's jaw tightened. He looked at the sky, at the swirling clouds where a shadow moved unseen. The hunt was not just about strength, it was about time. Every moment wasted brought them closer to loss. Lyra's small hand tugged at his arm, her voice trembling. Please, human, promise me. Promise me you will not leave me alone. Daniel knelt down, looking her in the eyes, his voice firm. I promise, Lyra, I will not leave you. We will face this together. Her eyes glowed brighter, and for the first time, her fear seemed smaller. Together, they stepped forward into the mist. The sky hunter waited, but so did hope. And the story of the alien girl's people was no longer just hers. It was now his as well. The deeper they went into the forest, the darker it became. The glowing plants dimmed, and the mist grew heavier, curling around their legs like cold fingers. Daniel walked ahead, spear in hand, every sense sharp. Lyra followed close behind, her glowing skin the only gentle light in the endless shadows. The silence was wrong. A forest should be alive with sound, the calls of creatures, the rustle of leaves, the whisper of wind. But here, there was nothing. No bird, no insect, no breath of life. It was as if the forest itself feared to move. Daniel stopped. His eyes scanned the twisted trees, and his grip on the spear tightened. Something was watching them. He could feel it, the way a soldier feels the enemy long before the first strike. Lyra felt it too. Her small hand clutched Daniel's arm, her voice trembling. They are here, she whispered. The servants of the sky hunter. Before Daniel could ask, the silence shattered. A high-pitched screech split the air, sharp and piercing. Dark shapes dropped from the canopy above, wings snapping open like knives. They circled fast. Shadows with glowing eyes, predators of the mist. Daniel raised his spear, his heart pounding. There were 3 of them, smaller than the sky hunter, perhaps, but deadly all the same. Their claws scraped the bark as they swooped low, their screeches echoing like cruel laughter. They were hunting, testing, waiting for weakness. Lyra gasped, backing away. They are the scouts. They serve the sky hunter. They bring prey to the nest, she cried. Her voice trembled with fear, but Daniel's eyes stayed locked on the creatures. He knew the pattern. This was no simple attack. It was a game, a hunt, and he was the prize. The first creature dived, wings folded tight, claws extended. Daniel spun to the side, thrusting his spear upward. The point sliced through the mist, grazing the beast's side, a burst of black blood spraying into the air. The creature shrieked, spinning away, but the others closed in, faster, sharper. The second came from behind. Daniel dropped low, rolling across the roots as claws raked the ground where his head had been. Splinters flew. The sound of tearing wood filled the forest. He rose quickly, striking upward. forcing the beast back. Lyra's glow flickered as she pressed against a tree, her voice crying out, "Be careful, human. They are strong. They are clever." Her fear filled the air, but Daniel could not let it break him. He had fought too many battles. He knew fear was the weapon of hunters. The third creature struck fast, wings cutting the air like blades. Daniel swung his spear sideways, the wood shuddering as it struck the beast's wing. The creature screamed, twisting away, but its tail lashed out, striking Daniel's side. He staggered, pain searing through his ribs, but he did not fall. The creature circled again, their glowing eyes fixed on him. They were cautious now, but not retreating. They were waiting, watching, waiting for him to tire. Above, the mist stirred as if something larger moved in the clouds. Daniel gritted his teeth. If he lost here, it was over, not just for him, but for Lyra, for her mother. He forced himself to breathe steady, his grip strong, his mind clear. This was not just survival, this was war. The first creature dived again, faster, sharper. Daniel lunged forward, spear piercing straight through its chest. The impact shook his arms. The beast shrieked, thrashing, black blood dripping across the ground. It twisted, wings beating wildly, then fell silent, collapsing against the roots. Lyra gasped, her eyes wide. "You killed it," she whispered, her voice filled with awe and disbelief. Daniel did not answer. His eyes stayed on the two that remained. Their screeches grew louder, angrier. They had lost one, but now they were furious. Both came at once, one from the left, one from the right, claws flashing, teeth bared. Daniel spun his spear, striking wide to keep them back. The air exploded with the sound of wings. The forest shook with their rage. One claw raked his arm, blood running warm down his skin. He grunted, refusing to drop his weapon. The other slammed into his chest, knocking him against a tree. The world spun. The spear almost slipped from his hand. But Lyra cried out, her voice breaking through the haze. "Daniel, don't give up." Her cry lit something inside him, something fierce, something unyielding. He roared, driving forward with all his strength. The spear struck true, piercing the second creature through the neck. It screamed, wings flailing, then fell hard, its body breaking against the roots. The last beast shrieked, circling higher, its glowing eyes filled with fury. It dived, faster than the others, a streak of death from the mist. Daniel braced, his body aching, blood running down his arm. At the last second, he twisted, driving the broken end of the spear into the beast's chest. The force slammed him to the ground, but the beast shrieked once, then fell still. Silence returned. Heavy and cold, Daniel lay breathing hard, his body trembling. Lyra ran to him, her glowing hands touching his arm. "You fought them. You beat them," she whispered, her eyes wide with wonder. Daniel pushed himself up, pain burning, but his eyes sharp. "They were only scouts," he said grimly. Lyra's face paled, her glow flickering weakly. "Yes," she whispered. "The Sky Hunter knows we are coming." Above them, in the swirling clouds, a shadow moved, larger than all the rest. The hunt had only just begun. The forest thinned as they walked. The tall alien trees that once covered the sky began to fade, replaced by jagged cliffs and sharp rocks. The air grew colder, the mist heavier, carrying the scent of stone and storm. Daniel's steps slowed, his body still aching from the battle with the scouts, but his eyes stayed sharp. Lyra walked beside him, her glow weaker than before. She looked up at the cliffs with fear, her small hands clutching her chest. Her voice was quiet, almost broken. "We are close now," she whispered. "The nest is near." Daniel stopped, looking at her. "Are you sure?" he asked. Lyra nodded, her glowing eyes shimmering with both hope and terror. "Yes, I can feel it. My mother is there. I hear her in my heart." They climbed higher, the ground rough beneath their feet. The trees gave way to stone, and the path narrowed into a ledge. Wind whipped across the cliff, carrying the echo of distant cries. Daniel tightened his grip on the spear, every muscle tense. Then, they saw it. Far above, hidden in the clouds, was a shape unlike anything Daniel had ever seen. A massive nest, woven from black branches, bones, and metal torn from old ships. It clung to the cliffside like a fortress, reaching into the clouds. The size of it stole his breath. It was no simple nest. It was a kingdom, a prison, and a throne for the sky hunter. The walls of twisted bones gleamed white in the stormy light. Shadows moved inside, shapes of prey still alive, still waiting for their fate. Lyra gasped, tears filling her glowing eyes. There. She is there, she whispered, pointing with a trembling hand. Daniel followed her gaze, and his stomach tightened. In the center of the nest, bound by vines and wings, was a woman. Her glow was faint, but strong enough to see even from afar. Her body weak, but her spirit unbroken. That's your mother, Daniel said softly. Lyra nodded, her voice breaking. Yes, that is her. She still lives, but not for long. The wind howled around them, shaking the cliff. Daniel narrowed his eyes, scanning the path ahead. There was no simple way up. The rocks were jagged, the vines slick with mist, and above, the shadow of something vast shifted within the clouds. Watching, waiting. The sky hunter is here, Daniel said, his voice low. Lyra shivered, her glow flickering. Yes, she whispered. It never leaves its nest. For long, it is the master of the sky, and it knows we are coming. Daniel took a deep breath. He had seen war machines, alien beasts, even storms that could tear ships apart, but nothing compared to this. The sky hunter's nest was not just a place, it was a challenge. To step closer meant stepping into the jaws of death itself. Still, he looked at Lyra. Her glowing eyes were filled with tears, but also with fire. He could not turn back now. Not after coming this far, not after promising her. We climb, he said firmly. Lyra's voice trembled. But the path is steep, and the sky hunter sees everything. If it finds us before we reach her. Daniel cut her off, his eyes steady. Then we fight, the same way we did before. She stared at him for a long moment, then nodded, her small face set with determination. Yes, we climb. They began the ascent. The rocks were sharp, cutting into Daniel's hands as he pulled himself upward. The vines were slick with mist, making every step a risk. The wind roared, shaking the cliffs, threatening to throw them down. Lyra moved quickly, despite her small size, her glow guiding Daniel through the cracks and ledges. But more than once, she slipped, and each time Daniel caught her, pulling her back from the edge. Her trust in him grew with every breath, every step, and though his body ached, his spirit grew stronger. Halfway up, they paused on a narrow ledge. The nest loomed above them now, larger than any fortress, the cries of trapped creatures echoing through the mist. Daniel peered upward, and his blood chilled from the clouds. Two massive wings spread wide, blocking the light. Red eyes burned like fire in the storm. The sky hunter, it was awake. Its screech ripped through the air, shaking the cliff, making the rocks tremble beneath their feet. Lyra gasped, clinging to Daniel, her small body shaking. It knows we are here, she cried. Daniel held his spear, his voice steady though his heart pounded. Then let it know, we are not afraid. The beast circled once, its shadow covering the cliff, then disappeared back into the clouds. It was not attacking yet, only watching, only waiting. Daniel understood, this was its game. It wanted them to climb, to struggle, to reach the nest. And then, it would strike. The climb grew harder. Every stone felt sharper. Every gust of wind stronger. But neither of them stopped. Lyra whispered to herself, calling on the forest for strength. Daniel focused on each handhold, each step, his mind locked on the promise he had made. Finally, they reached the edge. The nest rose before them, towering, massive, a fortress of bones and branches. The stench of death filled the air, mixed with the cries of the living. Daniel's eyes narrowed as he saw the prisoners trapped inside, not just Lyra's mother, but others too. Lyra's voice shook. She is there. I see her. We are so close. Daniel raised his spear, his voice low but firm. Then let's finish this. No turning back now. But above them, the clouds shifted again. The air grew heavy. The storm crackled with lightning, and with a deafening screech, the sky hunter descended, its wings spread wide, its body larger than a ship, its eyes burning red. The hunt was over. The battle was about to begin. The nest towered above them like a fortress of bones. Daniel and Lyra stood at the base, the storm howling around them, lightning flashing in the distance. The sky hunter's shadow circled the clouds, watching, waiting, daring them to continue. Every instinct in Daniel's body told him to stop, to turn back, but he looked at Lyra's glowing eyes and knew there was no choice. We climb now, Daniel said, his voice steady. Lyra nodded, though her small hands shook as she gripped the vines. The rocks were jagged and wet, slick with mist, every handhold threatening to slip. Above, the cries of captives echoed, a haunting chorus that pushed them forward. The climb began slow. Daniel placed his weight carefully, pulling himself higher, his spear tied across his back. Lyra moved lightly, her glow guiding the path, though the vines trembled beneath her small feet. The wind roared, tugging at them like invisible claws, as if the storm itself wanted them to fall. Halfway up, a thunderous screech shook the cliffs. The sky hunter dove, low wings spreading across the sky like black sails. Its eyes glowed red through the mist. It screeched, tearing at their ears. Lyra gasped, almost losing her grip. But Daniel's strong hand grabbed her wrist, pulling her close. Don't look at it, he commanded. Look only at the rock, one step at a time. She nodded quickly, tears in her glowing eyes, but she held on tighter. The beast circled above, not striking yet, but making its presence known. It was playing with them, waiting until they were trapped with nowhere to run. The climb grew harder. Sharp bones jutted out from the nest walls, remains of creatures long dead. Their hollow eyes stared at the climbers, as if warning them of their fate. Daniel ignored the fear clawing at his chest and kept climbing, his muscles burning. Lyra slipped again, the vine tearing under her weight. For a moment, she dangled over the endless drop, her scream echoing through the cliffs. Daniel lunged, catching her arm, pulling her back with all his strength. She clung to him, shaking, her voice trembling. I can't do this. Yes, you can, Daniel said firmly, his face close to hers. You are stronger than you know, and your mother is waiting. She needs you. Don't stop now. Her glow flickered, then steadied. Her breathing slowed, and she nodded. Okay? I will climb. Together. They pressed onward, step by step, hand by hand. They rose higher. The wind howled, lightning cracked across the sky, and the sky hunter's screeches grew louder. It was close now, too close. Then a shadow fell over them. Daniel looked up, his heart tightening. The sky hunter dived, faster than before, wings slicing through the storm, its talons stretched wide, aiming for Lyra. Move, Daniel shouted. He shoved her against the cliffside as the beast's claws tore past, ripping chunks of stone from the wall. The force of its wings almost threw him back, but he held on with a roar. Lyra screamed, but Daniel's spear flashed as he swung, striking the beast's talon. The sky hunter screeched in pain, pulling back into the storm, breathing hard. Daniel pressed against the rock. That was just a warning, he said grimly. Next time, it won't miss. Lyra's small hand gripped his arm tightly. We must hurry before it strikes again. The climb quickened, desperation fueling their strength. Every moment was a battle, every breath stolen from the storm. Daniel's muscles ached, his wounds from the scouts burned, but he forced himself onward. He thought of Lyra's mother, of the promise he had made, and he refused to stop. Finally, they reached the outer wall of the nest. It was massive, woven from branches, bones, and strange alien vines. The structure groaned under the wind, but it was strong, built from centuries of prey. The cries of captives echoed louder now, some begging, some silent in despair. Lyra's glowing eyes filled with tears. She is inside. I feel her. She is calling to me. Daniel placed a hand on her shoulder, his voice firm. Stay close. We go in together. They climbed into the nest, the bones creaking under their weight. The stench of death filled the air, thick and choking. Shadows moved between the twisted branches, shapes of creatures still alive. Their glowing eyes begged silently for rescue. But Daniel's focus stayed on Lyra's mother. Suddenly, a roar split the sky, louder than thunder. The sky hunter descended, landing on the edge of the nest, its massive body shaking the structure, wings spread wide, eyes burning like fire. It stared directly at them. Lyra froze, her glow trembling like a candle in the storm. Daniel stepped forward, spear in hand. The storm raged around them, lightning flashing, thunder crashing, but in that moment, only two things mattered, the human and the beast. Predator and challenger, standing face to face. Lyra's voice broke the silence, soft but full of faith. You can fight it. I believe in you. Daniel nodded, his eyes never leaving the beast. I will fight, for her, for you. The sky hunter spread its wings and screeched, the sound shaking the nest. Daniel raised his spear, his body steady. Despite the storm, the climb was over. The battle had begun. The sky hunter landed on the edge of the nest, its massive claws sinking deep into the bones. The whole structure shuddered under its weight, the storm roaring behind it like a crown of chaos. Its wings spread wide, stretching longer than sails of a ship, each feather sharp as a blade. Its red eyes burned in the mist, locked on Daniel and Lyra. Lyra's glow flickered, her small body shaking. Her voice broke as she whispered, "It is here." The master of the skies. Daniel stood tall, his spear gripped tight in both hands. His heart thundered, but his eyes never left the beast. The sky hunter screeched, a sound so powerful it rattled the bones of the nest. Prisoners inside cried out, some begging, some silent in fear. Lightning struck, illuminating the beast's monstrous form, scales black as obsidian, fangs long as swords. It moved like a shadow made flesh, both graceful and deadly. The beast lunged first, wings beating like thunder. Its talons slashed at Daniel, faster than he expected. He rolled aside, the claws ripping through branches where he had stood. Splinters and bone fragments rained down into the abyss below. Daniel rose quickly, thrusting his spear forward. The point struck the beast's leg, piercing scale. The sky hunter roared in fury, its wing lashing out, striking Daniel with the force of a storm. He staggered, pain tearing through his body, but he did not fall. Lyra screamed, "Daniel!" Her small hands reached for him, but he raised a hand. "Stay back," he shouted, his eyes locked on the beast. He knew, if she came closer, the sky hunter would tear her apart. The beast circled inside the nest, wings folding and unfolding, its gaze fixed on its challenger. It wanted him, not the girl. Daniel's grip tightened on the spear, his mind focused. He had fought enemies before, but never one like this, never a creature born from pure fear. The sky hunter lunged again, its beak snapping. Daniel twisted, driving his spear upward into its chest. The point sank deep, black blood spraying across the bones. The beast shrieked, the sound shaking the nest so violently the walls cracked. But it did not fall. It pulled back, wings beating wildly, lifting into the air above them. Daniel's chest heaved, his arms burned. He had struck hard, but the battle was far from over. From the sky, the beast dived, faster than lightning. Daniel braced, but this time it was too quick. The talons slashed across his side, ripping through cloth and flesh. Pain exploded, blood running down his body. He fell to one knee, gasping. Lyra cried out, running toward him, but before the beast could strike again, she pulled a small pouch from around her neck. Inside were glowing stones, bright as stars, pulsing with energy. She hurled them into the air, her voice echoing with courage. "Over here, monster. Look at me." The stones burst with light, brighter than lightning. The sky hunter shrieked. Blinded for a moment, Daniel forced himself to stand. Gripping his spear, despite the pain, the beast turned toward the girl, rage burning in its eyes. Daniel roared. Charging forward with all his strength, he leaped onto the beast's wing, climbing its scales like jagged rocks. The sky hunter thrashed, trying to throw him off, but Daniel held tight, driving the spear deep into the joint of the wing. The creature screamed, its body shaking violently. Blood poured from the wound, staining the storm. The beast slammed against the nest wall, bones cracking, branches snapping. Daniel's body shook with the impact, but he refused to let go. He pulled the spear free, driving it again into the beast's neck. The roar shook the clouds, the storm itself trembling. Finally, with one last strike, Daniel drove the spear into the beast's chest, straight into the place where its heart thundered like a drum. The sky hunter shrieked, wings beating wildly, then faltered. Its body collapsed against the nest, shaking it to the core. Daniel fell back, rolling across the bones, his chest heaving. The sky hunter writhed, wings flailing, but the light in its eyes began to fade. Its screech grew weaker, softer, until only the sound of the storm remained. Finally, the beast lay still, its body broken, its reign ended. Silence filled the nest. The prisoners dared to breathe, their glowing eyes wide with disbelief. Lyra ran to Daniel, tears glowing on her cheeks. "You did it, Daniel. You killed it." He leaned on his spear, blood dripping down his side. His voice was rough, but steady. "No, we did it. Together." Lyra smiled through her tears, her small hands gripping his arm. But the battle was not without cost. The nest shook, weakened by the fight, bones cracking under the weight of the fallen beast. The structure groaned, threatening to collapse. Daniel's eyes darted to the center, where Lyra's mother still hung, weak but alive. "There," Daniel said, pointing. "We must free her before the nest falls." Lyra nodded quickly, her face filled with desperate determination. "Yes, hurry, before it is too late." The storm still raged above, lightning flashing, thunder rolling, but for the first time, the sky felt different. The master of the skies was dead, and a human had brought it down. The nest shook under their feet, bones cracked, branches snapped. The weight of the fallen sky hunter, pulling the structure apart. Daniel leaned on his spear, his body bleeding and weak, but his eyes stayed sharp. Lyra tugged at his arm, her glowing face filled with panic. "My mother, we must save her now," she cried. Daniel nodded, pushing himself forward, each step a battle against pain. The cries of prisoners echoed around them, creatures of many kinds, trapped in cages of bone and vine. But Lyra's gaze stayed fixed on the center, where a faint blue glow still flickered. Her mother hung suspended in a cocoon of vines, her glow weak, her body frail, but her spirit unbroken. "Mother!" Lyra screamed, running forward. The woman's eyes opened slowly, her faint voice whispering, "Lyra, my child." Daniel raised his spear, slicing through the vines. Each cut brought the stench of rot and blood, the remains of the sky hunter's prey. The nest groaned louder, swaying dangerously, lightning splitting the sky above. Time was running out. At last, the final vine snapped. The alien woman fell into Daniel's arms, weak but alive. Lyra clung to her mother, tears glowing like tiny stars on her cheeks. "You're safe now, mother. You're safe," she whispered. The woman touched her daughter's face, her own glow faint but warm. "You brought him. The human. You brought hope," she said softly. Daniel shook his head, his voice firm but gentle. "She brought me. She never gave up. And that is why you live." The nest trembled violently, cracks ripping through the walls of bone. Prisoners screamed, some trying to free themselves, others too weak to move. Daniel's jaw tightened. "We can't leave them," he said. Lyra's eyes widened, fear battling with compassion. "But if we stay, we will all fall." The decision tore at him. But Daniel could not abandon them. He struck the cages with his spear, breaking the branches. One by one, creatures stumbled free, glowing eyes filled with disbelief. Lyra and her mother helped, pulling vines aside, guiding the weak. The nest roared as it split, huge chunks falling into the abyss below. The storm's wind howled louder, pulling at them. Daniel shouted, "Move! Everyone, climb down now." The freed prisoners scrambled, wings and limbs trembling as they fled toward the cliffside. But then, a sound froze Daniel's blood, a screech, faint but real, echoing from the clouds above. Lyra's eyes widened in horror. "No, it can't be. The Sky Hunter is dead." Daniel looked up, his heart pounding. From the storm, shadows moved, larger than the one he had slain, shapes with wings, glowing red eyes piercing the mist. One became two, two became 5, then 10, circling above the ruins of the nest. "There are more," Daniel said grimly, his voice steady, despite the fear. "The one we killed was not the only Sky Hunter. It was just one of many." Lyra gasped, clutching her mother tightly. "No, they will come for us all." The prisoners screamed, terror spreading through them. The sky filled with shadows, wings blotting out the lightning. The hunters circled, their cries echoing like drums of war. The storm was theirs, the sky was theirs. And now they had seen the death of one of their kind. Daniel's eyes narrowed. "We can't fight them now. Not like this, but we can escape." He led them down the broken edge of the nest, guiding every step. His body ached, his wounds burned, but his will was unbroken. Lyra clung to her mother as they descended, her glow steadier now, stronger with her mother alive. She looked at Daniel, her voice trembling but filled with belief. "You killed one. No human has ever done that. You are not just a fighter, you are hope." Daniel said nothing, his jaw tight, his eyes on the storm above. The hunters circled, not diving yet, not striking. They were watching, waiting, learning. He understood then. The battle was not over. It had only begun. At last, they reached the cliffs. The prisoners spread into the forest, hiding in the shadows, their glows flickering like stars. Lyra's mother leaned weakly against Daniel, her voice soft but strong. "You are protector of the lost, human. My people will remember you." Daniel shook his head, looking at Lyra. "She is the true protector. She had the courage to fight when no one else did." Lyra smiled, though her eyes shone with tears. "And I was not alone. I had you." The storm raged above, the hunters, still circling. Their red eyes glowed like burning stars. Promising they would return, Daniel looked to the sky, his spear still in his hand. He knew this was not the end, only the beginning of a greater war. He turned to Lyra and her mother, his voice steady. "Take your people, hide them, protect them. I will be here when they come back." Lyra shook her head, her glowing eyes filled with determination. "No, Daniel, you will not stand alone. We will fight with you." Her words carried into the storm. The prisoners heard them, their fear dimming, their glows growing brighter. For the first time, they did not look only to the sky in terror. They looked to the human, to the girl, to hope. The storm cracked, lightning splitting the sky. The hunters screeched in the distance, their wings blotting out the stars. But Daniel stood tall, his spear ready, and by his side, the alien girl and her mother stood, glowing like flames against the dark. The war of the skies had only begun.